We're getting closer. All right, it is time to start towards the final assembly. Working with the front panel and the lining that does not have the pocket. So the lining without the pocket. We're going to place the zipper that we made with the tab according to the pattern. Go across the top, aligning those edges. Okay, now I'm going to mark these just like I do in the pattern. Time for a new silver marking pen. Okay, so marking where the edge is, and then how far in you want your zipper, just like that. Mark it all the way across. I like to apply double-sided tape over the line that I just made, just like this, because those are my markings for where I'm going to bend the zipper at the 90 degrees. So open it up, remove the first side of double-sided tape. I like to put my finger right where the line is and then fold it back on itself. So just like this, back on itself, and then the coils at a 90 degrees. And we'll do that again on the next one just to reinforce what we're doing on that. But that's just to get your zipper at a 90 degree, even on both sides, because that's one of the things that drove me crazy about a couple of other methods, is that the zipper never ended up even right there. So that's why you do it this way now. So down at the 90 degrees, remove that tape, or the top of it, paper, and then your lining panel without the pocket, align at the top edge, just like that. Turn it over and sew on the main exterior fabric. Move your zipper out of the way as needed. I like to come back over the top of that zipper by a couple of stitches just to really secure it in place. Probably not a big need to do that, but I do like to do it. And then cut your extra zipper off so that all of that is nice and aligned. And then we're going to press the lining away from the zipper and then wrap it around to the back, and then we're going to top stitch that edge. Okay. Wrap that around just like this. Make sure your edges look good, feel good. The nicer it looks before you stitch, the better it will look as you go. So pull this over. You'll want to start stitching about 1/4 of an inch in, because that's where your seam allowance is in this pattern. So start stitching there. It is a top stitch, so make sure that your stitch length is correct. And then just over the strap tab, stopping about 1/4 inch there as well. Now, if you want to stitch all the way across, that's your preference, and that's how you've made bags, it's not a big deal. It's just where I prefer to stop so that I can get a nice looking top. Okay, now it's time to go back, and we'll do the other side. Okay, working with the back conceal pocket panel, first we're going to install the strap tabs. So we're going to measure those according to the pattern instructions, just like that. And then I always like my zipper tabs to go over the top by about 1/8 of an inch. And that's just so that I can know that there's enough of it into the seam allowance that there hopefully won't be any issues. So do just like that. And then I like to put a piece of double-sided tape right over the top, just to secure it in place before we put the other piece there. Okay. Just like that. All right, take the front panel and then right sides together. Place the top panel down onto the back panel and then align those top edges. Just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to remove the tape that was over the marked line. I like to put my finger right where it is that I'm going to fold back to. Fold the tape. I'm trying to do this so you can see it. Fold the tape back onto itself at that mark and then down 90 degrees, just like that. It probably would hold itself in place just fine. But I like to make sure. All right, and now take the pocket for the lining with the pocket panel, and we're going to I do realize it looks like I use a lot of double-sided tape, and in all honesty, it's probably the case. Probably a fair statement. But I really don't like things to shift, and I really like the double-sided tape that we offer. So just like that, we've got everything aligned. Flip it over. I just don't like to sew from the side of the lining if I don't have to. That's the kind of the bottom line right there. Okay, starting at that edge. Now keep everything held in place because it sometimes likes to move. So start sewing up and over. When you get to the first strap tab, you'll want to reinforce it by going over it again. Just like this. Move your zipper, pull up and out of the way. Same thing when you get to the next one. Just like that. Cut off your extra zipper tape. And then you'll want to fold this piece away from the zipper, just like that. And then we're going to start with fold the pocket panel away, do a light press, then fold the other one away, and then we'll do a top stitch. We're getting so close. Okay, so usually when I'm at my ironing station, then I will take the time to really kind of meld these together and start getting them in place for when I bring it over and top stitch it. So I did that, and now we're going to start again about 1/4 of an inch in. You need to take a hammer in this area to get this thinned down a little bit. Certainly can do that. My machine walks over it usually pretty well, but there are machines out there that have a little bit of a struggle, or a lot of it, whatever the case is. So this just kind of gives you just a couple of tips. Or I'll take something like these pliers and I will squish down in the area of the zipper, just to be able to get that looking nice. So off we go, stitching across the top. Stop at the 1/4 inch from the edge. If you like to stitch across, feel free. All right. So now we're going to box the corners and get ready to stitch all the way around it. Okay, we are clipped and ready to go. So starting at the bottom of the lining, you're going to stitch up the side of the lining. Make sure everything stays in place. You're going to press down at the top where the two come together. Moving your lining as needed. Alright, I like to use the jump and sew in this area just to kind of help me get over the top of this. Down the side. I don't usually clip the threads right here. I just pull out a little bit and then continue down the bottom edge of the purse. Up the other edge. Make sure that things aren't sliding. If you have a problem getting over here or getting back down, you can use your seam jump or your jump and sew, which is the one that I designed. And then back across the bottom of the lining. If you wanted to do a little bit bigger margin on or seam allowance on the lining just to make it fit tighter, you certainly could. It's a pretty small bag, so sometimes that helps a little bit. All right. We're going to reach in, open up, and then at this point I like to cut my seam allowance at the top, and then we're going to box the bottoms. From there, I'm just seeing how much time we were at. All right. Okay. To box your bottoms, you want to make sure that you've got, put your hand all the way in, and then you'll bring the bottom seam and the side seam together, is how that works. Pull it apart just like this. Just want to get a nice straight edge, and then you'll want one of your seams to go one way and one of your seams to go the other to get that nice. It's just gonna sit together nicely, and then we're gonna sew across the top of that, the regular seam allowance. Squish it down as needed. It's going to be hard to see in the video what I'm doing, but I'm sewing across the bottom of that. Careful not to sew at an angle because it's such a small bag that that will be noticeable. That tip may come from experience. All right, so same thing. You're gonna one seam allowance to one side, the other seam to the other. I like to make sure that I put them on the same side. So on this one, the bottom is facing me on both sides. So then I'm gonna try to get this squished down so you can see it. That didn't work how I wanted it to. So maybe I'll go at it from this side. There we go. Okay. So just like that. Again, sewing evenly across. You'll want to go back and forth over it a couple of times just to make sure that you get a good solid sew there. You don't want the stitches to show up on the bottom. All right, so next we're gonna do the lining. I always save the lining for last because it's the easiest one, and I figure, shoo, I'm on the home stretch, I can do the easy one now. Sometimes our crazy way of thinking of things. So just like that, so across the bottom. And then we're going to go to the other corner. Those apart. Again, make sure that your seams are going in the same direction as the other side. This. Perfect. The boxes are done. The sides have been carved out. Now it's time to turn this beauty. I always just push the corners in on both sides. Like this. The nice thing is that it's not a real thick bag, it's just sometimes a little cumbersome to get through that pocket because of the soft loop tape. Have patience, be gentle, as you can be, and then it starts coming together. So there's your first boxed bottom, second boxed bottom. There's your bottom here. I just like to, it's the best time to smooth things out, get things kind of sort of going in the direction that you want them to be. Use your fingernail, or better yet, your wonderful chopsticks to get that pushed out. So I use my key fob pliers to give that a good squish. Same thing on this side. Just like that. So then I just like to push the pocket down inside, make sure that you've got everything arranged, that you remembered your zipper pulls way back in the beginning. Excellent. It's looking good. Pull your lining pocket back out, and then we're going to stitch across the bottom to close that up. For those of you that are super sleuths and can see a miss that I made earlier, I did go in and add my label at the end. I don't recommend it. It's quite the pain, but I do not like my bags to go out to customers or for me to carry them without my labels. So that should have been added when the purse was, the front panels were complete, and it is in the instructions to do so. So my mistake on that, but I did go in and add it, and so it's all taken care of. I've just got that sewed across, push the pocket down in, getting the corners nice and pushed down, and then just like that. Beautiful strap that was done earlier. Add your strap. So you've got one zipper that opens this way, the middle zipper. The bottom zipper opens from right to left. Next one, left to right, and then the top one, right to left. Could you mix it around if you're left-handed and want it to open the other way? Absolutely can. No problems there. On the back, we have the conceal pocket, and that one on this particular purse is on the right, open from the top to bottom, and it's got your area for whatever it is that you want to place in this pocket. But it does have the padding on the outside, so that makes it a little bit nicer. I do not recommend putting the padding on the inside because it makes it very stiff. If you do so, completely up to you. If you did, I would make some other modifications to make it a little bit longer, box it bigger, what have you. So that pocket is good to go. And we are all complete. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you purchasing the pattern, and I hope you enjoy the video. That will be a first for Fireweed Stitches, to have a video that goes with the pattern at release. So thanks so much. I appreciate you, and thanks for supporting the small businesses. Have a great day.